It's business.
It is business.
Now it's business, you know? But you have to see, okay, I'm gonna be nagging all the time, you know, saying, okay, they pay much more money to this guy, this is not fair, this, that, or just enjoy the game, you know? I don't really care what's going on around me, you know?
Yeah.
Let's start it off like this.
You didn't bring my lacrosse ball.
You need a lacrosse ball.
A lacrosse ball?
Yeah.
I always like put on my feet everywhere, or here in sauna.
It's a bit difficult here, right?
No, I'm just saying.
Lacrosse ball, is that what you do in...
Can we just get a...
You want to start like that?
Introduction?
Okay, I start like this and then you do introduction. Ready?
Okay.
Well, let me do it.
Okay, yeah, you do it. You do it.
The guest star.
Yeah.
Amir.
Take a deep breath in.
Have you tried it before?
I like the sound.
Yeah, right?
I love it when you can put it on your body, you know, after a massage.
It's good. And
Have
it's
you
like
tried it?
It's like you can feel the vibration inside your body, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean...
It's the same feeling when you do like, you know?
Exactly, where it vibrates all the way up. Yeah, it's crazy. Have you done the meditations before?
No, but like... I was really vibing one time with some music, and then like I was alone at a hotel with a nice view. Then all of a sudden, without like knowing about it, how to do it, I did it for like an hour. And then I could feel the vibrate, like I had a shaver inside my body, you know, shaving machine.
Yeah.
Brrr, like this, it was so cool.
So what did you do?
The thing is, like, after I did some research and I saw all the benefits, but I've been a little bit lazy on doing that specific meditation, but I think it's really
So
good.
it's just like deep breath and then right all the way out.
Yeah, like...
And then a long om. And you can feel it vibrate all the way down the spine.
That's the shit.
From what I know, it stimulates your vagus nerve. So in that way, it makes you more calm because you get accelerated into your parasympathetic nervous system, right? So, but it's an ancient meditation tradition.
Yeah, it has really a lot of benefits, no, with like recovering as well.
Exactly. And just to get you into these theta brain waves, maybe you should have used it this morning after this intense flight, right?
Yeah, man, it was a hell of an experience.
Tell us about the trip.
So... I had like 3 hours delay. I don't know, I think, as you said, it could be because there's storms in Denmark. Or then I booked the hotel that you told me, so it's close to you.
High class hotel, right? High class. I told him it was a high class hotel.
Yeah, he told me, hey, listen, it might be too much, you know, but try it. It's the closest to me. I'm like, okay. Then I saw like a better hotel that had gym, you know, because usually when I come to Denmark, I work a session with him. Then now he's busy with family and the cute daughter.
That's life.
Then I was like, okay, maybe I can go to gym, do another session. But then he was like, it's closer to me, you know, and he's lazy. He doesn't want to come and pick me up.
But that's also...
And then I went, I arrived late because I had the 3 hours, you know, delay. Then I came and there was nobody in reception, bro. I called.
Jesus.
So yeah.
What time did you arrive at the hotel?
Like 12.
But that's the worst service ever. If you have a hotel, that's literally the only thing you have to do is be there when people show up.
So I woke up this morning at 6 and I got some messages from him like 12 o'clock saying, bro, it's not open. Nobody lets me in. And I was like, okay, it's 6 o'clock now. He must have managed it somehow. And I texted him and he sent me a picture. Bro, I'm still here. You've been sitting here for 6 hours outside the hotel and it was storming and raining
here.
It
was like, outside was like a zombie city, like nobody, wind.
But it actually is lucky because now we've been talking about sleep for fucking 3 times. Now 3 times we were talking about it's important to sleep enough, but now you haven't slept. You slept what, 2 hours?
Yeah, I mean, I went inside, had a breakfast because I was starving as well. Then, tried to sleep a few hours.
And how do you feel
I
now?
was jet lagged when I woke up. Like I flew from US to Denmark.
It feels that way.
Yeah,
it does.
But the thing is, like, I'm really okay with this stuff. Like, like it doesn't bother me that much. But when I went inside and they said, like, why would you not have like a code, like as you said, to enter, or I don't know, like a reply message, 24-hour service to reply my messages? He's like, oh, you should have seen it in the booking. Like, not even little sorry, not even
that's
little.
Fucked up. That's fucked up.
Shit service.
Not asking for anything, just like, it's a little bit sad.
I'd like to say sorry on behalf of Denmark.
Exactly. But that's just who we are.
But that's not the first experience I had
arrogant.
in Denmark.
Yeah.
You remember the first time?
No.
The COVID.
With the airport, it's like you're unlucky every time you get here. It was during the COVID pandemic where they wouldn't let you in, right?
So I was flying from Bosnia because I was with the national team. I had a game there, and one of my teammates also was playing in Vejle. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
And then we flew together. I wanted to come to train with you a few days, and then he would go to his club. So we took the same flight. We went together, and then obviously he was the resident here, so they let him in go easily. Then when it came to me, they're like, why would you come here? I said, I'm here to train. And I made a mistake because I think you told me you should say that, for example,
you were with a professional or something, Yeah, because they won't let you in unless you're with a professional or you have some kind of injury.
But I explained and stuff. They kept me for a few hours, like 4 or 5 hours sitting on the airplane. And then
what was the problem? What was the problem?
They say you can't come as a tourist in COVID time.
Yeah, but if you were from Sweden, that wouldn't have been a problem.
But it doesn't have any logic. Like, I don't get it.
But that was the Corona pandemic, That was just crazy.
It was just like a...
Yeah. So you love Denmark by now, right?
Yeah, I love Denmark. Man.
Except the service level.
No,
the service level is fucking...
No, it's a beautiful country.
Yeah, You think it is?
Yeah, I mean, I like Copenhagen. I love the burgers.
Yeah, the burgers are great. They are. I think Denmark is a very boring country, extremely flat. We don't have anything special here that you can't find outside of Denmark. Yeah. That's just my feeling.
No, I mean,
I guess
I wouldn't live here. Like, I wouldn't be able to live here. But to visit, I like it. I mean, I like how you can ride. Like, it's kind of like Holland. You can ride
everybody
the
rides,
because it's flat.
Yeah,
but
I would say it's also now I also been living outside of Denmark for a long time. I just got home. I lived in China for 7 years.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Wow, I need to. Hear your story a little bit.
For sure, but when you come home, people don't know how fucking lucky they are here.
Yeah.
I
Proper
mean,
economic, no? Like,
yeah, man.
Everything is just,
society, there's a completely different pressure from society in many other... I don't know about Iran, but I mean, I went from China, where I lived, and then I went to India, where I bought these ones, and then I came back here, and when I came back here, I'm like, oh, holy fuck, I'm happy I'm from Denmark.
Yeah. I mean, the support you get from... the government, like,
man, and
people should appreciate it because it doesn't happen in a lot of countries.
It doesn't happen anywhere else but here. Maybe Sweden and Norway.
We are very comfortable.
Yeah,
we are,
and we complain about a lot of small shit.
And from outside, people would say like Danish people or like the countries from this area, Scandinavian. They say like
Scandinavia.
Yeah, they are cold, but when you get to know them. You don't think it's true. You think they're just really straightforward. They don't have to, show something that they're not. And I like this.
I guess that's kind of true.
I also think it's the hierarchy. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's very flat. So, for instance, if you have a job here or you have someone, you would talk to that person like you would talk to your friend, or at least more than you would in, for instance, many other countries, even Germany. So if you have a boss, you can say your own opinion. You can say, I don't like your shoes.
But we are complaining a lot. Yeah. We are too comfortable. And when we don't get what we want, we complain.
It's always
and that's just in our nature. It's disgusting
I think it's humans, no? You take things for granted.
Yeah.
I guess so. But I think it's especially here because we are so comfortable that we are.
We'll get back to the conversation in a moment, but first I need to tell you about our sponsor, Nordic Kings. Nordic Kings produce the highest quality of grass-fed organic beef organ supplements. I've used their products for years, which provides me with so many bioavailable micronutrients that I don't need to take any synthetic vitamins. So if you don't like the taste of beef organs or you just need to spike your mineral and vitamin intake, Nordic Kings is a reliable and high quality source. You can save 15% off your next order by heading over to nordickings.se/en and use the code holistic15.
So before we get any further, I guess there's a lot of our listeners who have no idea who you are. Okay?
Yeah.
So tell us, who are you?
Well, I'm Amir Abedzadeh, and I'm a goalkeeper for Iran national team, and I've been playing quite a lot of few teams in Europe. I can tell my background, I've been all over the place. So when I was 14, I moved to England. I was studying and I trained with Tottenham Academy. I was with some other teams as well. Then I went to US when I was 17. I had my first professional contract there with a team in USL League. Then I went back to Iran 3 years to one of the top teams in Iran called Persepolis. Then another year in another team. Then went to Portugal. 5 years there in Maritimo. Then 2 years in Spain. Now I'm finished the contract and I'm deciding where to go next. So I've been all over the place. But I've loved the journey so far, so I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Not like Danish people.
No, yeah, and we know each other from that field. So normally our thoughts were, we don't want to have any football players in here. Because you know, mainly football players don't have anything other to talk about than football. I know that's generalizing, but that's how it is. But you have some interesting perspectives because we have been training together for a couple of years now and we have talked about everything, you know. So I like your view of you know, just everything, the universe and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess it's very unconventional for a guy from the Middle East that you are, you know, because you guys used to be just very religious within your religion. But to me, it seems that you are more like open-minded, if you can say it that way. Is that true?
Oh, I've never really thought about it so deep because I'm really enjoying whatever comes to me and all the consciousness that I get from universe, from religions, different religions. But I really believe in just love of the God, like the universe or whatever you want to call it, because it's just different names, you know. And I've been like in this journey and I've been connected to this energy and higher power, and it has helped me a lot with my football as well. Every time I go through a struggle, I can always go back to that place, you know, whether it's through meditation or walking in the nature or...
So that's your mental coach?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like it always brings me back to my balance, you know, and I really believe that there is something that, you know, is supporting me or helping me or guiding me, you know. So we have to really like go through to so I can explain myself, you know, what exactly it is. But as you said, like I'm not super religious. Just because I was born in Iran, I say, okay, you know, I'm going through this because everyone gets a different thing when they read, for example, the book of Quran, which is the book of Muslims, or if you read your, like, I don't know, if you read the Bible, maybe you get different things from it, you know, than if someone else reads.
But do you consider yourself a religious guy or more like a spiritual guy?
Free guy?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I can't put a word on it. Like, in the moment and just like experiencing. I really believe that we're here to experience, to enjoy, you know. I don't want to put topics on what I am, you know, because I would put a limit on it, you know.
If you label things.
Exactly.
What about, so you moved to England when you were 14?
Yeah.
But that's also, that has to have like a big piece in the puzzle, because when you move away from your own culture at 14, that's a big culture shock. I know that you didn't move to, let's say, like an immigrant, you didn't move like low in society. You probably had a little bit better, right? Because you're playing football and you're doing stuff. So you see, but it's still a culture shock. There's still new things every day you have to do differently, right? And being so many different places you must have learned a lot from that, right?
I mean, I always knew that I was gonna be a football player, and I always wanted to play in Europe at the highest level. So that made it so much easier. I think when you know what you want, you know, you don't get distracted what is good or bad for me or culture or that. So for me, that really helped me a lot, because I've seen a lot of people, like my friends or in my family, that they don't exactly know what they want, so they're all over the place, you know? They get lost or they let things bother them. But I knew what I wanted from the beginning, so like I was really committed, and then...
So you see them get lost because they don't have a path in life?
Yeah,
or
it's
a goal.
Really sad. I think it's a really big privilege if you know what you love, you know?
For sure. How did you find out?
I found it when I was like watching my dad behind the net, because my dad is a legend goalkeeper as well in Iran.
Yeah, you told me it was like the Kasper Schmeichel, Peter Schmeichel relationship, right? Yeah. Okay.
That's another reason why I like Denmark. Kasper is like one of my favorite goalkeepers.
So your dad was a legend in Iran,
yeah. He's a legend in Iran, and he played the World Cup '98. I think, was Denmark there in '98? I think so,
I think so, we were, yeah.
So Peter Schmeichel was there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then in 2018, I was there and Kasper, but I didn't get to play. So it was...
Okay,
but what about, did you ever feel, I can imagine, I've always thought about this, when you see great athletes have children, is there a lot of pressure on, did you feel a lot of pressure growing up, like, fuck, what if I don't make it? Or were you just completely like...
I think it's difficult. I think it's difficult because you have a weight on your shoulder, but again, it comes down to how much you really want it, because maybe the other boys that didn't make it, they didn't want it bad enough, you know, or you know, they were distracted from the, for example, money that the father made through the career, and you know, they were like, we're okay, you know, they weren't hungry enough.
Because that's easy to happen, right? Exactly, that's easy that happens to people. What do you think was the reason that didn't happen to you?
I love the game so much, you know, I love the game so much. It's nice to just like be somebody, you know, and try to inspire. I love to inspire like people from my country as well. And I think I've done a good job opening the path like of goalkeepers, because we didn't really have any goalkeepers coming out of Iran and, you know, doing well, consistent, you know, we've been having it, and, you know, they've been going back and forth, just short years, you know, but I'm really happy that I opened the path like 5 years in Portugal. After me, so many players came to Portuguese league. Now I'm in Spain, so I really like to inspire. And even if you look at my Instagram page, I really try to, you know, inspire people, you know, share my path, what I've learned, you know, and through quotes, through pictures, or through
be humble.
Feelings.
That's cool, man.
But what do you feel about the world of football? Do you feel like, because I from my outside perspective, it's a very shallow world, you know, dominated by money, by politics, and not very dominated by football, which it should be. But football has become everything other than football. Can you feel that amongst your teammates, amongst you know, just the field in?
It's business.
It is business.
Now it's business, you know. But you have to see, okay, I'm gonna be nagging all the time, you know, saying, okay, they pay much more money to this guy, this is not fair, this and that, or just enjoy the game, you know. I don't really care what's going on around me, you know. Sometimes it's not fair, but to bring yourself back to now and say, wow, I'm playing football, doing what I love, getting paid, so many fans, you know, showing love to me, I will be able to show love back to them, you know, make people happy. Like, I mean, come on. I can't take this for granted, you know. I'm grateful, and I don't put time thinking about those things that, okay, football, because it's really big, and you keep going inside, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, I have a bad energy now, you know. I'm feeling bad about football. Why would I do that?
Yeah, for sure.
That's only,
for sure.
Yeah.
But that also means that it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's also when you don't compete.
But yeah,
when you don't compete about the people next to you, when you compete about yourself, that's when you become good, because that's when you want to put in the work and you become creative. But the moment you start competing about everyone else in class, but that's when it fucks up.
That's a rare quality within football. That's what I see. Everyone is competing with each other, and it's all about money, and it's like the motivation is not to become a better teammate, to become a better football player. It's about the money. It's about the fame.
Yeah.
You know, you can see on all football players' Instagram feeds, you know, it's just money, watches, cars, everything but football.
Yeah, but maybe this is what they wanted, you know. For example, if a player is showing off the watches, maybe when he was a kid, he just wanted to be rich through football.
Yeah,
you know, you can't really judge, but I see what you mean. Like, it's a little bit of too much bragging through football players. I can see it as well.
But even outside football also, that's the same goal that many other people have. Do you know what I mean? Even outside football is still that 1% that if they had the money wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like that would still focus on, because I think that, for instance, when you come to a conclusion,
the owner of Facebook, like
Mark Zuckerberg, who's gonna
so
fight
much
Elon Musk.
money, but he's just going with one T-shirt, like.
Yeah, and it's also
exactly.
When you realize that buying something is only, as soon as you bought that watch, there's 10 more watches to buy, and as soon as you bought them, there's 10 more cars to buy. So in your mind, if you're always not living in the now, like you say, but you're always living in the future, you at some point will become anxious or stressed just from buying these kind of fucking things and not being here.
As long as it makes you feel good, you know, like to buy nice clothes or a watch, okay, but when it passes that phase and it's just, you know, for making the other guy jealous or, you know, showing my money, then I think that's bad.
Have you seen that?
Yeah,
like
I can see it, you know, even through my national team, like guys talking about these things, like bragging, okay, about this, about that. But I can't judge, you know. I mean,
for sure.
Everyone's different, so you have to respect that and just do you.
We'll get back to the conversation in a moment, but first I need to tell you about our sponsor, Functional Self. Functional Self isn't just another health store, it's a lifestyle. They offer a carefully curated range of supplements, biohacking tools, and functional foods that are scientifically proven to elevate your well-being. I've used them for many years in everything from Rosita cod liver oil to MacTech Magnesium, and guess what? They ship all over the Europe, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. So if you're serious about taking your health to the next level, check out the full range at functionalself.com and use the code HOLISTIC10 for 10% off your first order.
I'm just thinking sometimes, because when I look at football or basketball or any other sport, I'm sometimes looking at it like there's something wrong. Because how can we, I'm not saying football is not, it's appreciated by the market, by people watching it, and that's why there's so much money in it. But the fact that someone can get paid $1 billion for playing football in a society. You should be able to live off of it, but $1 billion, that's massive amounts of money. It's like putting insane. God to a God's status, almost, you know?
Yeah. But who's that? Like Cristiano Ronaldo? No?
Yeah, something like that, right?
You put a post of his posture, no? Were you saying it's good or bad?
His posture? Yeah, that was about how... That was about how physical proportions were a factor for health.
So was he good or?
I think he's mainly good, yeah. He is.
So he's getting paid, right? Because you're all about
no. That's...
For you, I think Mbappe should get a lot of money, no? With the attendance.
Huh?
Mbappe? Kylian Mbappe?
Yeah. No, I think...
But he is getting a lot of money too,
think
right?
Everyone in the football world is getting too much money, you know? And it's not like they don't deserve it, but those amounts...
What about the amounts in baseball?
That's the same,
That's
right?
the same in...
I mean, they do less, no?
It's the same in USA, but, it's not... You can have two kind of people, and they are completely the same.
Mm-hmm.
But one is famous for being a Hollywood actor, for being a football player, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is just a regular guy. And the difference in their payment bills are insanely high. And so I cannot grab my mind around how there can be suffering in the world when we have that amount of money within that small number of people, just because they're famous.
Yeah.
It's just difficult for me to understand.
But it's also, that's why it's very respectful to hear that some people do it for the love of the game, It's not
exactly.
really, it's still
I mean,
humble.
for example, look at Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
How many people he inspired.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. There is
and
a
he
lot.
worked really hard,
Yeah.
if you see his background. So I'm saying he deserves
For
to
sure.
get
And
like
that's
a
also
lot
the
of
thing,
money.
right? That's when you have this sort of power, you should use it to inspire other
Exactly.
people. And when you do that, you must also feel very good about yourself.
So
right?
there's nobody on top to say, okay, you're not inspiring, you're not a good example, so
Yeah.
you're not getting paid. It doesn't work like that. So it's just...
Yeah.
But he's still, let's talk about Kobe Bryant, he's still a human being. The only thing he was good at was throwing a ball, mainly, That's what's crazy. That's what it takes
I think
to
he was
become
really
famous.
good at talking as well.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
He
I mean,
became.
he was smart,
He
of course.
became,
Yeah.
for sure. But you don't have to be.
But
and he was a special athlete. Like,
He was,
if
definitely.
you go through his interviews, you could see what a complete guy he is.
His
Like in terms of
mentality,
meditation, how many times he
But
worked
that's
out.
also,
Absolutely.
I think, partly
Proper
because of
example.
Phil Jackson. You had Phil Jackson in Lakers, and Phil Jackson was a huge spiritual guy. So he would do like yoga sessions, meditation sessions, and this guy is super calm. Like you can just see his whole vibe. And this is the same guy who coached Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
So-
I think he directed him, but what he was in his mind, because he's saying when I was, 14, when he was in Italy, he knew what he wanted,
Like you.
Like he didn't have Phil back then, So,
For sure. But that's also, I agree with you, man. When you know something, that stuff,
Yeah.
I'm going to get, no one else is going to stop me from doing that. You will do it. But when you do it because you think, oh, fuck, I like that watch, you come a little bit more in the forces of the environment. If it goes good, you're fucking happy. If it goes bad, you're down here. But if you do it for yourself and your own goals, I think it's easier to stay on track.
Going back to your Phil, what's his name? Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson, yeah.
Phil Jackson topic. I think there is a saying like in Iranian, I don't know if they have it in English. They say like if the student is ready, the coach will come. You know. So I think he really wanted what he wanted, so he attracted Phil.
For sure.
For example, me, I found Maz in the Instagram. I constantly texted him until we created a connection after me coming a few times here. So I think if a person really wants it, he will go and look and see what suits him, and try to add to him so he can improve his career, his game, or whatever.
And he will be able to see it when it arrives.
Yeah.
That's also the big part, because many people are not taking the right options for them, but mostly because they don't see it, because they're too focused on all the other crap,
Yeah.
I think that's also a big part of it. When you're ready, you know how to choose as well.
But why did you contact me back then? What is different about the treating of your body than a regular football player or regular athlete's treating of their body? Because once again, I see a difference from you to the normal football player. So
I don't know, like, I have a feeling that what everyone is doing, it's not right, like...
Why? Why so?
I don't know, like, for example, just a simple MFR technique, that I see so much benefit, why it's not being said, like, through all the football teams? Like, I don't understand. For me, I remember I was watching YouTube and I saw MFR, like, by luck, and I was trying it. So, like, even with this simple MFR that you were explaining and you were showing on your videos that, like, how your mobility would change, it's, for me, a big, like, evidence that your method is right. But for me, I've been struggling because, for example, we come here, train in my own time. I try to, like train your type of like what you call functional, no functional.
Yeah, let's just
Functional
call it functional training. Yeah.
And then when you go to club, then pre-training you're doing squats, and you can't try to.
Yeah, and that's the problem that I see often. That you have this paradox. You know what is right, and then you go back to a whole institution that does what is wrong.
Yeah.
But sometimes you are allowed to do your own. I don't know what's.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
for you?
I would, for example, I hate deadlift. And when it comes with deadlift, I would just ask my physical coach if I can do another exercise, similar to activate the same muscles that deadlift does.
And are they able to provide you with that? With an alternative?
Yeah, they let me, but even, for example, when I do these things with bands, like my teammates are making fun of me.
That's just the way it is,
I come from Iran and they're like, oh shit, terrorist exercises. It's so funny.
With a bomb on your shoulders. Yeah.
What's that MF? Can you just, because I don't know what it is.
MFR, that's stands for myofascial release. So that's a myofascial release technique. And the fascia, that's kind of this whip that's enclosing your entire body. That's the muscle tissue.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't read his book?
I have read 80 pages.
You're a long way to go.
I'm a long way, but it's good. But it's a lot of these things that we're talking. When I'm reading this book, that's the funny thing. When I'm reading the book, your book, when I read about, and then all this happened, and then when I realized, because I've known him since he was, since we were kids.
Kid, really.
So when I read the book, I'm like, okay, I know all this shit already. because I've been talking about him for so long, so. But of course but I'm waiting for the physical one.
Yeah.
The physical. I right now have it on the
the Kindle
that's
version.
another.
I really, for me right now.
You read it?
Yeah.
You finished it?
For me, maybe 40 pages to finish. But really want to find the time to translate it to Farsi, my language.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because I think it's like a Bible of health. I think you're really expanding all the details, and I have to congratulate you on your job.
I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that.
We'll get back to the conversation in a moment, but first I'll need to tell you about our sponsor, Bahe. Bahe have created the world's first running shoe that allows you to be grounded when barefoot isn't practical. This means that the shoe has been designed with a sole that allows you to absorb the negative ions from earth just as if you were barefooted. And as you all know, I'm a major advocate for the benefits that nature brings us. And I ground myself daily to decrease my inflammation and maximize my longevity. And they look much nicer than most sports shoes. So head over to bahe.co and check them out. And you can use the code HOLISTIC10 to get 10% off your first order.
But those are also the principles that you work with right now, because you talked about the MFR, right? Myofascial release.
Yeah, even, for example, all the little details like nose breathing, But for me, I've been struggling with like the techniques, to be sure that I'm doing it right, because every time I come to you, you're correcting me constantly. But when I'm doing it alone, I think, I get a little bit less I get demotivated because, there's nobody to guide me,
to check on you,
expanded that well.
So you're doing MFR, you're doing functional training, let's call it multidimensional training, because that's what it is. You're moving in multiple directions. You're doing nose breathing. Yeah. Anything else you are?
I try to do the breath works, the DMT, was it? No.
DMT breath work?
DMT.
What is that? The one we did together?
Yeah, Tumo
meditation.
Tumo meditation.
Try and explain what that is.
Well, you can explain it better, but the thing is...
Yeah, but you have tried it. You have tried what it felt like.
I didn't get the same effect as your client did on your course, to be fair. No, but...
Is it Wim Hof?
Yeah, that is kind of the same. Because Wim Hof is Tumo meditation.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Tumo is the original.
He's a legend, man. Yeah,
he is a legend, yeah.
But I'd love to meet him. Yeah,
the same thing happened. We went to him, and the same thing happened to me. I got the fucking seizure.
Wow, that was crazy.
Oh, did you try?
I fucking
got spasms.
I was fucking yelling and
really.
Yeah, I was moaning and doing all. I don't remember anything.
So like DMT, I think you get it in your body when you are born and when you're about to die, right? The moment.
Yep.
Wrong.
You have it in your body your entire life, and it's in nature as well. It circulates inside your spine in what's called the cerebrospinal fluid. So I believe that when you dream, you have this little tiny DMT experience, and you can accelerate this experience by doing the Tumo meditation, for example, because you're accelerating this cerebrospinal flow up towards the brain. So it's a hypothesis, but it says that DMT then circulates up towards the brain and ends into the pineal gland, and that's how you get the DMT experience.
It's like a psychedelic effect.
It's like a psychedelic experience, and that might explain why your trauma got expressed that way, or why some people laugh or cry or something when they do the Wim Hof breathing.
Well, like we talk about that fucking dream for ages now, but I had a dream while all this was happening. I had a dream, but my eyes were completely
like
open.
American Dream. Have you tried it?
Which one?
American Dream.
Was that a cake?
No. No. For example, when we were in college, the boys would try it in the dorms. For example, there's few kind of ways to do it, but for example, you do breaths while sitting down on your knees, then you get up and your friend chokes you, and then you go. And then you go like for seconds, then you come back. It's similar. It could be similar, no? But
something like that.
More dangerous.
Is that like a spiritual ritual or something?
No, it's called American Dream.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's just when I've also seen it before. It's just where people choke you out until you get unconscious, and then
my friend.
It's mostly like 14-year-old and something like that. That thinks, okay, let's just choke each other out.
I did it like 2 years ago.
Why?
No.
You have any benefits from it?
I think you told me about it.
I'm really into these stuffs, I love to.
This is 14-year-olds.
But someone is choking. But that's what I remember. I remember there was like some people like. The people that I remember doing is like middle school, and then I heard that, okay, we're just choking each other out, and then someone fall asleep, and then but for me, it was just choking someone out.
I think it's deeper than that.
There's few ways. I think one choking, and one, for example, you do like this, and then
do you get anything out of it?
Well, for me, I mean, I want to get that psychedelic effect, or the same as like this, the 2 more meditation,
Near
for
death
example.
experience.
I think there's so much to
explore,
to understand.
But what's the closest? What was the closest you've been to that experience?
Even when I told you, for example, I was saying unconsciously.
Yeah.
I think I was into that state. Every time I go to nature, I get it. I really connect. Yeah.
So what do you do to try to get into that state?
I mean, with meditation, or for example, my friends had, for example, experiences with psychedelic, mushrooms. But I mean, there is so much to it, I think I have to explore it after football, properly.
But that's also that whole side. Once that opens up, you can't close that book, because once you see what's possible, we've all tried where, you're thinking of something, and then it happens right there, or
law of attraction, no?
Law of attraction. But once you get into the meditation part, and once you get into the nature and meditation and yoga and breath work, all of a sudden you start noticing these things more and more and more and
because
more.
Because you're aligned, I mean, for example, I really believe that if you're aligned, you ask for it and you see it, be and it is. So, for example, when you're in that state, when you're in that meditation, you don't have any disbelief or worries that will it happen, will it not happen, For example, I think for sure it has happened to you that you think of a friend and he will call you.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because there is no beliefs that,
it's a synchronicity.
That, will he call me, will he not call me, is it possible? There is no barriers,
it's just
for
a gut
you to
feeling. It's just a clean gut feeling.
Yeah, but it's also quantum physics.
Yeah.
Because quantum physics is the only thing that moves faster than light. And that's the only thing where you can affect something like that, and they have done experiments on that where, because that's the same they did with the CIA and everything did with the remote viewing experiments, where they're able to see and feel stuff by tuning in. Is really more listening than it is affecting something. That's also why it makes sense. You go to nature and you just listen, or you kind of suck into nature and just kind of tune into nature more than you try to, change something or like force your way upon it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're saying, for example, it's an energy that you get that your friends will call you. Or it's the other way around, that you think of him and you send the energy that he becomes.
That's the question.
I don't think that you affect someone to do something. I think that you can feel what's going to happen when you're aligned.
But what you're saying is also maybe
I feel like I thought of him and then this energy was sent and he got a feeling that he wanted to call me. Yeah,
it could be.
Or he thought of you and then you thought of him, and then does it really matter? Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes maybe it's coming from both sides at the same time, but we can't, because you're only seeing it from your perspective, right?
We're putting a limit on the time. Maybe the time doesn't exist.
Time doesn't exist.
Time is an illusion.
Yeah.
But that's also why I think that you kind of know what's going to happen when you're aligned, when you get these synchronicities. A synchronicity, then you know what's going to happen, if it's in 1 second or in 1 year. But I get this a lot, where I dream about something that happens the next day or a week after, or I think about something and it happens like this.
I think
it happens all the time.
It is in us humans, these instincts. Because, for example, my friend went to jungle in Finland at night that you can't see anything, literally. And then he was saying my instincts was, getting better. So, for example, he would go this close to a tree and he couldn't see it. Then he would,
He could feel it.
He could feel it.
But that's the same thing.
We have so many distractions here,
exactly.
With the Wi-Fi that you're saying, for example. So many things that we're losing this.
For sure.
That's why I love to go to nature and get connected, because as a goalkeeper, I like to, keep my instincts alive,
for sure. That's important.
to read the game,
Have you tried this darkness therapy? Do you know what it is? It's becoming very mainstream now. People go to 3 or 5 days with complete darkness. So they go into a room that's in a room. And then you shut all light out. So it's literally dark. You cannot see any lights.
Okay.
You can explain it because you have had second-hand experience with it, right?
Yeah. So when I was in China, I was just talking to this guy who had his own dark room. So it's like double doors. You can't open the door, for instance, that light comes in. So everything has to be completely dark. So he built this room where he was supposed to be in there for 14 days and no eating.
But why is that?
Because when you're in there, like you say,
pineal gland activation,
your melatonin and these kind of things, your hormones get affected, first of all. Second of all, it's also, why do people fast, right? Why do we do that? The reason we do that is because when we learn to be without something, when we get it, we will appreciate it more, right? You become appreciative. So I think I don't know what his intention was to go into it, but that would probably be why I would go into it. But after he had been in this room for he said he was supposed to be there for 2 weeks, but after 5 days he got too anxious or something like that and went out, so he didn't fulfill it. But after a couple of days, there was this fan that was going around in the ceiling. And after a few days, there was some metal clicking. And he could start seeing, literally like when you bang metal together, that little things come up?
The spark.
Yeah, after 3 days in complete darkness, he could see that from metal as well. From plastic as well.
Yeah, so he could see something that weren't there.
When he first came in.
It is there, but you're not able to see it. So you are...
And he was feeling other stuff too.
It's like when you go sit in your garden, for example, and then you sit for 30 minutes, you would see more stars than when he comes in after 30 minutes. Because the more you see it, the more you see it, in the dark, the more it becomes,
But it's like that you get your eyesight back while being blind. It's sort of that. And that's because the pineal gland activates, which is the gland of darkness. So when you're inside darkness for long enough, it activates the melatonin production, and then you're able to somehow see something. I'm not into it. I haven't tried it yet. I think I'm too anxious to try
You're
it.
such a sun guy, no? Every time talking about you need to be in the sun.
Yeah, exactly. So this is completely illogical to me.
Yeah,
No, but you
again-
tried like fasting to be able to explain it better, no? To your
Yeah, I've tried fasting as well. It was him who told me about it back then years
I
ago.
remember.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
water fasting.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Have you done that?
No.
You have
No.
to do that, man.
Is it good?
What about
That's also spiritual.
what about the Ramadan?
No, I haven't.
You don't
No.
you don't do that? Okay.
But you should plan. You gotta plan it. But
I
that-
love to try it, to do the fasting.
You think about it. Everything that is in your reality is bound on food because you eat 3 times a day, right? 2 or 3 times a day. So everything you do has something to do with food every day since you fucking are born, right? Everything evolves around food.
Yeah.
And when that is taken out of your day-to-day routine, you think different. Because you know the food is not gonna come. So all of the thoughts and all of the things that you use food to comfort yourself around, when you're not happy, you can eat. That's why some people get fat. It's not because they love, it's because they are not happy or something is wrong.
Self-control.
So they, it feels good to eat something, right?
The discipline you gain.
Yeah,
is
first of all, the
next level.
discipline.
Really?
That's why you gotta plan it. If you don't plan it and say, you can't just say, tomorrow I'm gonna start fasting and then do it for 10 days. You can, but it's way more difficult than if you say, next month I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna do it from these dates and do this. Because then you already put in your mind, I'm gonna finish that, right? So when you do that, your body goes into the full ketosis. So your whole body system changes. It changes from taking what is it called, like nutrition from the stuff that you eat, to taking
like
it from
camels.
exactly. But I think that's probably
Physiologically, your cells eat themselves. Okay, to get nutrition.
But the thing is, there's a difference between fasting and starvation.
Yeah.
Starvation is when your body starts taking what's essential to your body, and fasting is when it takes everything that's not essential.
So they clean up the dead cells.
That's
basically
how you get
cancer cells,
detoxification.
clean
no?
cells,
Correct.
everything.
Wow. Yeah, but that's the physiological part. That's the boring part.
Let's
right?
plan it. I want to do it. Yeah.
I'd be down. I gotta do this.
I need a fasting coach.
Yeah, for sure.
I've done it 5 times. I'm gonna plan one this year as well because I'm gonna do it once a year.
But it's actually pretty easy. You don't have to plan anything.
But I want to do it in nature.
You just for sure.
I want to take a tent and I want to go. Wow. That's what I did one time in China, and that was because then you also see how is it to not live with electricity. When it's 6 o'clock, you go to bed. And then your entertainment is the stars. When you go back to that, and when you hear, okay, this is how it sounds, you also hear, like you said, you tune into nature. First, okay, from 6 to 9, nature has one sound, specific kind of insects and bugs. From 9 to 12, other kind of bugs. And then you're like, wait, you don't notice these things.
That's
when
my
you have
plan after my career, for sure.
Yeah, and that's...
I got a big land in Madeira. Have you been to Madeira?
No, but you still have that land?
Yeah. I wanna.
And you live there by yourself?
Little retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's really good on mountains, and Madeira is a paradise.
Yeah, I saw the pictures you sent me. It looks amazing.
Bro, you need to go.
Do you have any sort of off-grid principles?
I was there like 2 weeks ago.
Where?
In Madeira for a week.
Yeah. But what are do you have sort of like self-sustainable ideas about your home? Yeah,
that's good.
I'm getting it from. I have a really good friend who's a neighbor there. Actually, he's really intelligent in these things. I think you should invite him to a podcast. He has a lot to say. Yeah,
for sure.
You had the same ideas with COVID times as well. He's like proper. So, he was telling me some crazy stuff. Like,
what did he say about COVID?
It was a corrupt thing that like they were putting venom in water. Like snake venom. And
did you get the vaccine?
No.
No?
Good.
How did you manage that as a football player?
I found my ways, but I knew it from the start that it was... I don't want to put something that I don't know into my body.
Exactly.
No, you're just a guinea pig. But I heard from all the other football guys, it's impossible not to get the vaccine. Because you can't get on the trips, to the different countries, the different training facilities. you kind of get kicked out of the team. People look down at you because you're the outsider. You're the guy.
What about now? If they know now, it's done. No, it's gone.
I think it's a different deal now because people know how shady it really was.
Yeah.
And you can see that there are no consequences.
Now there's not like it's like it didn't happen.
No. It's like it's just gone, and you can still travel, and there's no vaccine passport like they told that there would be. And I know a lot of people who feel that they were tricked into doing something that they wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Because they told you cannot fly again, you cannot travel again, you cannot do anything again.
I mean, like I had close friends or families that we would talk about it, and I would share my thoughts, but everyone has different opinion, and they got it, like I can't force like a member of my family to not get it. I think you have some like consciousness in you that you feel like, okay, this is not good for me, I won't do it, but you can't force other people to do it.
You can't force other people to do it.
You can only show us an example.
Yeah.
You can explain, share your knowledge, but
yeah, I agree.
But
you
feel
can
like
be
I did
the
a good
example.
thing.
Yeah, you cannot expect other people to learn from you, and that's fine. It's fine to have different opinions, but one thing I've learned is that you cannot tell other people what to do.
Yeah,
it will backfire. It will create this magnetic pole.
Just have to show your results, and they'll come to you.
Exactly.
But that's also what, like, for instance, I just realized the other day, much of the stuff that we're doing, we're completely opposite. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
I don't have any social media because I fucking hate that. And he does. I mean, a lot of the things that we do, but we still agree on so many things. Even though we don't agree at all on so many things, we're still open. You know?
And that's very rare. That's not something that you see often.
Yeah.
A vegan guy and a meat eater, they never get along. It's like politics.
But I mean, if everyone was the same, wouldn't the world be boring?
Yeah, sure. We need to learn about our differences, right?
Yeah, exactly. You need to share the experiences that others had and you can't have, learn and enjoy life.
Yeah, for sure.
What does your diet look like?
I try to like not eat really unhealthy, but I don't have like a specific that I will do this.
You don't have any principles?
No, but I always love my breakfast to be oatmeal before training, and then I will have like some rice and meat or chicken with salad. Like, but I have a sweet tooth, I try to control it. Yeah. I love sugar. Too.
That's the thing, but I think that has something with our upbringing to do. Yeah. That if we were accustomed to it by childhood, it's very difficult to get away from. Because, of course, everyone has a sweet tooth, but that can be for fruits.
Yeah.
But all this candy stuff, chocolate, all this stuff,
I hate chocolate.
That's not meant to be a human experience.
I don't like chocolate at all. I love biscuits, for example, like butter short.
That's not any better. That's not any better. But we can say
weakness.
It is. Yeah,
for sure.
I want to ask you, for example, how I can manage the trainings that, for example, we do together, and when I go to club. So, what's your solution for it?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. And again, I've been in this situations many times where I teach an unconventional method that clearly works, but I teach it within a business, a very huge business that does things the complete opposite way. So what's the solution? I don't know. The solution is to educate you so you believe in it so much that you're able to bring it back to the club and say, look at me. Look at what I can do. Because I guess the clubs has to see the effects and the results on your body before they can allow you to bring it in. Sometimes they just say, you do what you gotta do, as long as we can see that you're healthy.
For example, last season, I didn't have even one single injury.
Exactly.
I mean, I had like few like pains back here and there, but I was never like out for a game because of an injury, So I think I'm seeing the results, and the others. This is like one good fact, no?
Of course it is. But again, we haven't trained that much.
Yeah, no.
You know my principles,
Yeah.
but we've seen each other like 3 or 4 times.
4 times, yeah.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be enough for that. But I'm sure if you were educated in my system, you would never experience movement-related pain or injury back again. But it is kind of difficult because, you know, the sports of football is like very traditional, and they have these traditional principles of deadlifts and squats and bench press and all this basic stuff that they do. And why should they deviate from that when they have done it for 20, 30 years, right?
What is it exactly? Is that the MF4 thing?
Yeah, the concepts that we work in is called MFR. So it's myofascial release. That's about releasing this fascial system that encloses his body, because trauma accumulates in your body as trigger points. So that's why that you can feel sore when you push around your body, right? So that's trigger points. Trigger points are impairing your movement capabilities. So that's why you have pain and rounded shoulders. You have postural injuries, postural dysfunctions. And when they accumulate, they become injuries. That's why you have pain in your knees right now. That's because you're fundamentally dysfunctional in some parts of your movement. So when you keep doing a dysfunctional movement...
if I get it right. So for instance, let's say I have some sort of stress in my fascia here that makes so that my movement... I'm compensating a little bit, means I fuck up this knee.
Exactly.
And then I fuck up this knee, and then I compensate even more. I fuck up my hip, and then I fuck up my spine, and then I'm
connected.
dead.
So if you have a trigger point in your quadricep muscles, doesn't mean that the injury is here. No, in fact, the injury could be in the opposite knee or in the opposite lumbar spinal muscles. You know, they are never local to where the issue is because they create compensational patterns in your body.
Yeah.
And that's another thing because the traditional world of sports doesn't look at the body that way. They say, okay, where do you have the pain? Oh, it's pain in the knee. It must be a knee issue. No, the fuck it is. You know, it can be a pelvic tilt. It can be shoulder issues. It could be anything that creates a compensational pattern in your knee.
So you analyze that before you go. Let's say I had a knee. I actually have a knee injury because I was jumping over a fucking chair in my garden. I was just training. I was just doing reps at home. I didn't want to go to the gym. I'm doing stuff in the backyard.
After doing this, or
I don't remember what I did before. No, but like just doing. Actually, I got a lot into the movements. I also like grounding more. I like to be on grass. I don't like to be on a fucking wooden floor with rubber soles. So I was just doing like different, like the animal movements and stuff like that. Yeah. Just to get like different movements in, right? And then handstands and shit. And then in between, I was just jumping over a chair.
Some chairs,
Yeah, why not? Like, right? You got to get some sort of movement. And then, I don't know if then I got a left knee. I'm like, damn,
so
right?
That could potentially be a poor shock absorption because the shock absorption phase is a very vulnerable phase. Yeah. You know that. Yeah. You have to be very capable to shock absorb properly, right? So it could be that way, but it could potentially be all these compensational patterns. True, but that's what we do. We release the trigger points. That's the part number 1 because you cannot be a better mover.
Exactly.
Without releasing all these trauma that you have in your body, trauma that can accumulate from physical dysfunction or from mental dysfunction. It can be a mental dysfunction from your childhood, from a car crash or something. All kinds of things.
Yeah, because that shit will be in your mind as a pattern and makes you react in a certain way.
No, it's details. Like in sports, for example, for me especially, it's details. For example, if I have a restriction in my shoulder with the lack of mobility because I have like a trigger point here, that I need to work on, then maybe I could take that ball out. Like,
that's the very small percentages. Exactly. Yeah, it's very small percentages. But like the trauma comes mentally when you have a reaction to something traumatic, to a traumatic event. It will always cause a muscle to contract. So you get locked in this contraction, and it can be anywhere in the body. So this little muscle contraction that gets locked, which is in correspondence with the emotional trauma, it will sit there forever until it gets released.
That's interesting. I had a friend and that's similar to this, but it's not sports related. But he went through. You also know Marcus, and he went through this disease. He was in Croatia, and he got he's got some sort of bug, and then his whole system got into his blood cells, his red blood cells started decreasing, and no one knew why. But they found out it was a mosquito. And then the mosquito, the stuff that he got, released some disease that was already in his blood. And that took him through 2 or 3 years of very fucked up disease where he could only lie down, he couldn't see sunlight, and he would get, his lungs were completely fucked. He couldn't walk downstairs. He would get exhausted from eating fucking lunch, right? So he, after that,
a mosquito.
First mosquito, which then released something that only very old people get, that a lot of people have in their blood. Not a chemical, what is it called? What was COVID? That was a
virus?
A virus. It was a virus that was in his blood already, but his immune system was too strong that the virus had no authority. But because the mosquito thing got his immune system down so much, that virus took over somehow. And then he was in this 2-3 years where he was just and no one knew anything. He would go to the specialists in Denmark, and he had to research everything by himself. Fucking massive amount of work. He just did it by himself. And then he got out of it, but his lungs were still fucked. It was mainly a lung disease. And then when he was he was coming back, he was doing rehabilitation work, and they were giving him the hospital were giving him asthma medicine for his lungs. But then he went to an alternative, an alternative specialist, therapist. And she was talking about pressure points. And the first thing she did, she was giving a massage around here. And she was like, holy shit, your whole rib cage is locked up.
Exactly.
So she gave him pressure point massage and mental and some sort of not a psychiatrist, but talking to trauma and stuff. And after a month there, he ditched the asthma medicine, and now he's running and walking. He doesn't know anymore.
And that's a brilliant example of how trauma is locked in the body.
Yeah. Because it was literally, he researched everything himself. The doctor was just giving him asthma medicine, like Western medicine. And some alternative person fixed it with 3 times of massage of pressure points, which makes him able to breathe. It's fucking crazy to me, but it's kind of like the same principles.
It is, definitely. And I'm not saying medicine is bullshit, but I'm saying there are in most cases are better alternatives.
Of course, yeah.
And that doesn't matter if it's a severe disease like this one, or if it's just physical optimizations that you do.
Or you had an accident when you were a child, and you got a shock.
Exactly.
It could be.
Could be, yeah.
That's what happens with me at Wim Hof. That's what he told me.
Really?
I didn't know that was trauma, but then he told me the reason I react like that is because a pattern in my brain had stuck. So once you go to a trauma, it can be anything, man. It can be...
With the Tumo meditation?
Yeah, with the Tumo meditation.
Yeah, we did it, but they were playing drums and everything.
Yeah.
But what happened was that he says that when your brain goes into the same patterns, it doesn't, the neurons and the blood doesn't flow correctly. But when you breathe this way, your thinking mind is completely out of the game, which means it starts flowing all around. This is why it happens, because all of a sudden you process all the shit that you didn't process before, and that's why you have this release, I guess, which is then has a physical effect on your body and your pressure point, and it fucking works.
I posted this on my Instagram, this episode, as a video clip from the podcast, and some scientists came with this stupid comment, or maybe it was stupid, but it made me wonder, so maybe it was not that stupid either way. But he said that Wim Hof's method is dangerous and it's bullshit, because what you basically do is you shield off the oxygen into your body by basically accumulating CO2. So you cut off the oxygen supply, which also means that you cut off the oxygen supply into your brain. So you're actually creating a small brain damage while doing this Tumo meditation or Wim Hof meditation. And that's why you get these visuals and sounds and spasms and all that stuff, and not because of a psychedelic trip.
Well, after you can feel that your pineal gland is activated.
You can feel it, and you can
the recovery,
and like I told him, you can see visions, you can see childhood memories, you can feel them.
And let's also remember one more thing. What is it that you do to your muscles when you train? You fucking break them down. You make small little damages. This is how to get bigger.
Exactly.
When they fucking,
that's the same principle.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
That's the same principle.
Break something down to make it stronger afterwards.
Resilience.
But if you never touch your fucking muscle, you end up looking like fucking...
increase the capacity.
Stephen Hawking's.
So that's a typical Western comment, you know?
But has
nothing
he
to
tried
see.
it to know? Or?
I barely think so, you know, but that's just a typical comment, you know. There's nothing to see because I've read these studies and they say this and that. Okay, but what about the human experience, you know? Yeah. What about feeling it, feeling the emotions, connecting these emotions to something that actually has happened? And this thing about opening up the subconscious mind, that's no lie, you know, because you can see things that you haven't been able to see before. You can see things from your childhood that you have suppressed when you do these things. So that must be the evidence that it works, and it isn't some Western scientific phenomenon.
Yeah,
you know?
as I said, I'm here to experience this life. So I want to expand myself, know myself more with whatever technique or whatever comes along the way. I wouldn't, you know, put boundaries and say, okay, this would hurt me, or you know, if I've seen it works and it makes me feel good, why not, you know?
And you don't believe in coincidences, right? You told me once.
I think everything is connected.
Yeah,
for sure.
And what do you base that belief on? Because it must come from somewhere. You say it's not religion, it's not this, and it's not that, but it must come from somewhere. We all...
Everyone puts a name, you know? I can say it's God guiding me or the universe helping me.
But who is God?
Again, if I try to say my vision, it's putting limit on it, you know? I think it's better to feel it rather than explain it, you know?
Because we don't know.
Exactly. And we will not figure it out, you know? I don't think it's...
Until we die.
Yeah, it's so... But as long as you can feel it, enjoy the experience, you know, and try to guide other people to get that feeling, because you know it's right, you know it's a good feeling. When you go to the nature, when you walk, do you get a bad feeling? I think that's when you're close to...
You never get a bad feeling when you're in nature.
Yeah.
You never.
But some people are scared of it still. Some people don't want to touch, touch the ground or touch it. They think it's dirty.
I would hug a tree all day.
That's the thing is dirty.
I would hug a tree all day.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
For sure.
That's the thing. My girlfriend used to say to me, "Don't let our child go outside barefooted because she'll get dirty feet. She will hurt her feet on the grass." You know what the fuck? But that's the mentality. That's not abnormal to think that way.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen kids like next to the sea eating mud and they're perfectly fine.
Yeah, they eat shit.
And then there's those parents.
They literally eat shit.
And there's those parents who like
don't get sand in your mouth.
And they're always sick.
Yeah.
No, and they're always sick. That's the thing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
No,
but that's because we deviate more and more from nature.
Allergies and shit.
Yeah.
No, we get clothes on, shoes on, socks on, sunscreen on. You know, drop it. Get out there. Just be out there. Get exposed to it.
But you can't be too open because, for example, the water that you always are saying that, you know, it's not good what they're adding, fluoride or whatever, you know, so you have to also be careful with not going all the way.
Yeah, but that's not nature.
Yeah.
That's an artificial source.
Yeah,
Tap water is an artificial
source. I'm saying
source.
in terms of kids, you know, letting them do whatever they want.
Sure. You have to put on some healthy boundaries, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's the role of a parent. That's something that you two have still to learn, right?
Yeah.
We're watching your stories, don't worry.
Yeah, we're watching the story, man.
Yeah.
Cute
the story
one.
unfold.
Yeah. What's her name?
Mira.
Mira?
Yeah, M-I-R-I.
So she has all the alphabets of my name.
Amir, yeah. You know, it's funny. It's funny because for her... what's it called?
No coincidences.
What's it called? Barnedop.
Barnedop.
You know, we had this event when she was just born and all that stuff, and she had this cake with 4 letters on.
Baptized.
Baptized, yeah. M-I-R-A.
To say the gender of the baby, or
No, to
Kind
baptize.
of to baptize them
Give
in
them
the
the
Christian religion.
okay.
So long story short, I just swapped the letters.
Really?
So it says Amir to her baptized, yeah. That was kind of fun.
But why?
Just because I could, you know. You could just swap the letters and instead of Mira, it was just saying Amir.
Okay. So you were making me
So
Christian.
she's actually baptized Amir.
She's baptized Amir.
That's funny, bro.
That's good.
Bro, what's your number one tool? If you would like be in middle of nowhere, what would you take? Your cable machine or your...
iPhone.
No, I mean sport.
I'm kidding.
If I
Yeah, he
were...
would take his Instagram with a comment.
Yeah, my Instagram to keep my business going. No.
Google Maps.
What would I bring? What would I bring?
A hammer.
Yeah, something to kill with,
I would bring one of
guess.
those.
No, I mean to train, like
To
with
train?
your tool to train. That's
okay.
why I say your cable.
Of course, if the world is ending, you would just train.
So
What would you?
Okay, so if you
What's
had
your
to
tool?
make your own gym or what?
No, I'm saying what's your number one tool that you
Tool
can...
equipment for training. I think it would be the cable machine.
Yeah?
The cable machine you can do everything with, basically. You don't have that?
For me, it's lacrosse ball.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's also good, but the only thing you can do with a lacrosse ball is to release trauma.
Yeah, but like also there you can do exercises with any weights that you find, you know. But like lacrosse ball is for me.
For sure.
I
it's
take
good.
it with me everywhere.
It's good.
that's the one you put under your foot.
That's the
Anyway.
MFR
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
That's the thing you do to release these trauma trigger points. Yeah. But do they have them in the club even?
No.
No. So that's a foreign
I
concept.
always
That's
borrow to my
crazy. They
teammates.
don't have that.
Yeah.
Man.
just
No,
a
I mean
simple
you can
lacrosse
use
ball.
any ball, like even tennis ball if you're not used to the pain.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you can use anything that hurts basically.
Yeah.
I use
yeah.
I
The
use
more
a
pain, the
dumbbell
better.
at home. I have a
I
dumbbell at home.
recently
It's fucking-
got one.
Exactly.
I'll show you. I brought it. It's hockey ball.
Yeah, that shit.
It's
is-
A hockey ball?
Yeah,
Mm.
it's really hard. Yeah, it's
You know, in China where I used to live, all parks, they have the main road where you're walking, and then next to they have a cemented little, like this broad, that's only stones popping up. And it's made for that. It's made for foot massage.
For massage?
Yeah, it's made, when you fucking walk on that, it hurts like hell.
It's like stones. No?
It's like stones popping up, like half stones
yeah.
popping up. So it's just one path, and it's all the way back from where they were building. They were building the castles for the emperors. They all had that in the garden. So now all gardens have that. I always used to walk on that.
It's a really good feeling though. I love when walking like with a rock beach, you know, by the sea, because Madeira doesn't have a sand beach.
No, really?
No, just like one small part. It's called Seychelles.
That's a good way to ground.
Yeah, and I walk on the stones really like
Yeah,
proper
it's good to stimulate, yeah.
feet massage. Yeah.
It is.
Where are we seeing you after the summer? What club? You know yet?
I'm still deciding, you know. I mean, it's really funny. I like got to know this experience that like players when they have contract, they want to change the team, go to another team, and they're anxious why they have contract. I want to be free, and when they're free, they want to have a contract. You know,
sure.
it's really funny. But now I'm really relaxed. You know, for example, if it was me 4 or 5 years ago or 3 years ago, I would be like anxious by now. But now I have few offers in the same league that I was playing, La Liga 2, and like few in Portugal and some other countries, even my own country I have. But I'm taking my time. But
sure.
I want to stay in Spain though. Like my preference is Spain.
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Nice to talk to you, brother.
Yeah, it was a
nice to
pleasure.
meet you.
Nice
Thank
to
you
see
for
you
having
again.
me.
Of
For
course.
sure. And tomorrow
Training.
will kill you.
Yeah.
You have to go to the machine out there as well.
Yeah.
That's
it's
the ice
easy.
water.
Easy.
Do you do
Yeah.
that? Do you do the
Yeah,
ice?
we do it in the club. Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm right, but -6. But there's the machine you can change. the
-6.
Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe 6. Maybe it's not minus.
What is
I
that?
can't remember.
Some sort of-
I have
From-
videos.
Yeah, from what I know from the clubs, they're actually pretty hot. Or not hot, but they're not that cold.
Fucking -6,
Sure?
that would be brutal.
-6 is not possible.
Only
So
if
maybe
you
it's
keep it
6.
stirring.
I'll have a video.
Yeah,
I
for
have
sure.
a video.
Yeah.
I'll show you. But we
that
use the
is cold.
socks, because for me the worst
Socks?
is the nerves, feet nerves.
Okay, so that's the pussy
Yeah,
version.
for me it's
That's
here,
the
man.
pussy version, exactly.
So you're going.
If
so
you do it every day, you need to go with the pussy version.
are you going neck and below?
Yeah, I do sauna and then I go straight to.
Yeah, but neck and below, or
Yeah,
only
yeah.
only legs.
No, I go up to here, but
Okay.
my hands are out because.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's
that's
okay.
Yeah.
That's
the worst
brutal
one.
For me,
one,
the
yeah.
worst is the feet nerve.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think feet and hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just feel like the bones are crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's
it's
Goes,
crazy.
you know how you get
Yeah.
like when you drink a really cold,
Exactly.
like brain freeze.
yeah.
They say.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. You get the same in your hands and feet.
Yeah.
But that's the plan tomorrow. I will kill you in the gym and
Yeah.
I'll kill you in the ice bath.
Yeah,
And
and
then
I want a proper plan
And
because
then no
you're busy
sleeping.
Yeah.
this time. Usually I come 3-4 days.
Yeah.
You just
this time-
you just focus on getting some sleep at the hotel at first, right?
Yeah,
And tell them to
That's
go
what I
fuck
need.
themselves, right?
Crazy. Man.
yeah, bro.
All
thank
right,
you. Thank
let's
you for
wrap it
having
up.
me. I really
Thank you,
enjoyed
brother.
Let's wrap it up
Thank
with
you.
this
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
and a quick ohm.
We need to.
Oh. Steve Larsen. Oh. Fuck it.
So
Let's
much
go,
for
guys.
being in China.
Yeah, man. Okay. Good one, guys.